Well, I managed to get one of the Silvertone reproducers apart so I could rebuild it. It was a struggle. It's not the one that originally came with the Silvertone machine I have. That was a gold-plated one. Well, it was really painted. This is a nickel-plated one from a parts machine. And if it looks a little peculiar, I'll tell you why. Now, how these come apart is there's a ring. Sorry, there's glue all over my hands because I was doing some felt replacement before, and of course, when you mix me with glue, you generally do get a mess somewhere. But anyway, there's a ring right here. You can barely see it in there. And this is supposed to unscrew so that you can replace these white gaskets and the diaphragm. What happens is this is a pot metal reproducer. They are a fairly decent mix of pot metal here because this is not all blistered and cracked and swollen like you would see some of the Victor ones do, or HMV. So they used a pretty good mix, but you can see right here, that is a crack. Right there, big one. What I was able to do was pick out all the petrified piece of gasket that was in this so that the ring was not stuck to anything, and it came right out way too easy because of that crack. It shouldn't have really, probably never would have got it out otherwise. Gaskets on this are sourced from the Exhibition. They're the same white tube gasket the Exhibition reproducer uses, the Victor Exhibition. And the diaphragm is identical to the Victrola number 2. And here we have some springs on the needle bar. You see them right there. And that white stuff is small snippets of that same white tube gasket because I found that there was some petrified rubber under there. That's how they did it. And I replaced it with the tube gasket and adjusted it as I would an Exhibition. That seems to have worked out. Now, because of this crack, that ring would never go back as tight as it should be in there. It screwed in, but not as tightly as you'd be able to get it if this was brand new. So what I've done is I have sealed the crack and the entire ring with beeswax. Yeah, just regular beeswax. It's flexible. It will not stick anything shut forever. If I tried to put glue here, and I could have, this would never ever come apart again. That would be permanent. If something happened to the diaphragm, the gasket, anything, it's forever. This is then ruined. But the beeswax will keep things in place. It'll seal up any air leaks that are there, and it will allow it to come apart again should I need to do that. And now to the back, you might have noticed before, this odd-looking substance all over the place here. That is duct tape. Why is there duct tape on the elbow? Well, there's a small piece of the elbow missing right in here, and there's a screw, a guide screw in here, that stops this from rotating on that elbow. Now that piece is missing right next to the screw, so what it wants to do when you put it on the record is do that. Now good. So I have that missing piece. I forgot to bring it with me, so that did not get glued today, but I want to hear this place, so I have cobbled together this mess just to stop the reproducer from moving on the elbow. It'll do the job. We can play some records, test it out, and tape just comes right off when I glue on. I actually have a replacement elbow for this that came with this reproducer. And guess what? I managed to misplace that too. So one or the other will turn up. But this will work temporarily. And what I usually do is use this number 2, gold-plated number 2 Victrola reproducer on here because it's tight enough on this elbow that even with the missing piece, it doesn't move. It sticks right on there good and tight. And it fits right on there. And but since I have this and I went through all the trouble to cobble this thing together, I would like to hear how it sounds. See the number 2 uses a very similar gasket on the back. The isolator gasket fits right on that tonearm. Now to my surprise, the isolator gasket on this was actually still soft and pliable. It has to be 100 years old, but soft and pliable. I don't understand it. The gaskets were stone hard. And I don't imagine where anybody would have put a new one on this. There was nothing new on this parts machine. Not in a very, very long time. So that gasket had been on there for a lifetime, and it was still good. So that's good. I can reuse it. Because if it had been petrified, I would have tried to replace it with a gasket made for the Victrola number 2. I think it would have fit on there. I could have glued it in there and then used the same guide pin. All right, let's put this down for a second while I attach this to the machine. I need both hands for that. So we do not drop things on the record. And that would be bad because this is Enrico Caruso, and I don't want to have anything happen to one of the Caruso records. Okay. Now, some improvements have been made here. Notable number 1, I have used purple felt to replace the backing that was missing from this grill. Now, this grill at some point in the past was smashed, and it was kind of inexpertly glued together. The glue held, but it needed to be stabilized, so the felt will stabilize that now. It'll hold everything together. It's glued to the felt, it's glued to each other, and keeps the dust and dirt from getting into the horn area too. So that was one. That's why I have this mess on my hands, because I was poking and prodding and moving things around on this. And of course, I also replaced the felt on the turntable. Now, I do not know for sure if this had purple felt on it or not. I'm only going by some remains of purple that I found on the original turntable, which this is not, by the way. This turntable is off the parts machine. It's identical, except it's nickel plated instead of gold plated. The gold plated one had been painted by hand, and some form of something was epoxied to it, like they cut a piece of tin out of something, glued it to the original turntable, and then attached felt to that. I don't know why, but the epoxy is not coming off of there, and I am not going to fight it. So since I have an identical turntable, that is what's getting used. It's the one that goes to that reproducer anyway. All right, let's spin it up. I'm going to leave the lid up in case this little cobbled together bit of nonsense doesn't work and it starts to collapse. I can just reach in there and grab it, so before damage is done. Enrico Caruso. And I will show you the title of that one. Don't ask me to pronounce it. It's in Italian, and I'm unlikely to do that well. Come on. There we go. This is the single side Victor red label. The premium one. Trovatore. Enrico. 87001. Let's see what else we have here. We'll put that out of the way for the moment. What's this? This is a Columbia Honey on Our Honeymoon by Henry Burr. Well, doesn't look too bad. We'll give that a try. Of course, I'm going to have to change that needle first. We'll put you down for a sec while I do that. Did not sound too bad for something pretty much cobbled together. It is actually working. I should probably take the old needle out before I try to put the new needle in. Funny how that makes things work a little easier. The duct tape is holding. What's I think it is? Yeah, I think it is. I think we'll get a few more plays out of that. I made sure there was no oil or grease, and there goes the needle right down through the motorboard. Yeah, that happens. That's why you find needles floating around inside these machines sometimes. A lot of times because they were dropped on top and they fell through the cracks. Okay, I have to get in there anyway later on, so I'll retrieve that at a later date. Okay, there we go. Let's give that a shot. And there we go. Who was that anyway? Did I show that one? That one was Henry Burr, Honey on a Honeymoon. Flip side to that one is I've Got Rings on My Fingers by Ada Jones. Price, 2 cents or $2. Can't read that. Copyrighted record, additional price 2 cents. Huh. I wonder what that was all about. Somebody was charging an extra 2 cents because it was copyrighted. Guess they really needed those 2 pennies really bad. Let's wind it up. It's funny that Silvertone uses a gold-plated medallion on that machine. Silvertone in the gold. I wonder if they had a silver version of that on a less expensive machine. I'm sure they did. Also, I wonder why they just didn't go with a water decal. Would have thought it would have been a little bit less expensive. Could have put it right there like Victor did on the similar cabinets that they had. Okay, I have to play with the needle again. Let's see if I can screw this up. There we go. Get rid of the old needle. Make sure we're not getting too loose, which we are slightly, but we can fix that by tightening that. There we go. This needle wants to stick to my fingers. Okay. There we go. First, let's move that out of the way. Okay. Let's see what we got next. I think there's enough room on this to play one more. I gotta put you down. And what was that one anyway? I've got Rings on My Fingers, or Mumbo Jumbo Jijaboo J. O'Shea from the Midnight Suns. Columbia. Alright, what do we got here? Let's find something that's appropriate to the age of the machine. Let's see, we have... How about a John McCormack record? That's another red label one side. Duna. No, that's Reginald Worth. We'll try him next. I'm unfamiliar with the artist, although I'm sure to be on a red label, he was very well known in his time. Because only Victor's top recording artists ever got on the red label, because that was the most expensive label. Those ones were well over $1, and those mostly were like Irish tenors and opera singers and so on and so forth. A type of music that today really doesn't have great appeal, but it did back then. Tremendously so, actually. Make sure that's sticking on there. It is. Probably should wind it up to make sure that we have full power, because, well, I'm pretty sure this machine will play at least 3 sides of record, maybe 4. It is cold in here, and when it's cold, it thickens up the grease, and it makes it not want to move as efficiently, and the spring kind of ends up held back. So we give it full power. Okay, and I guess we'll play John McCormack too, since I have it out and ready. I know there's just enough room on the tape, I think, for one more. Let's see, what did I say that was? I hear a Thrush at Eve. It is a serenade by John McCormack, tenor with orchestra. The famous Irish tenor, John McCormack. I actually have an entire collection of his stuff somewhere that I acquired some years back from a house clean out, I guess you'd call it. So somebody had really liked John McCormack and had collected pretty much everything he ever recorded, I guess. Whole milk crate full of them, if I remember correctly. I still have that somewhere. The one I'm most familiar with, of course, is Keep the Home Fires Burning, because that was the ballad of the First World War, pretty much. And I'm putting the needle in backwards. Isn't that special? There we go. That'll make it really play well. Okay, trying not to stab myself while doing it. Okay. Mr. John McCormack. go. Mr. John McCormack. And next on this machine, I'm going to try to find some doors for it so I can replace these ones that have been pretty well damaged. You can see they turned them around backwards. The original knobs are still here, which is good. But they're backwards on there because I guess this side looked a little bit better than this side did. Not sure about the one over here. This side wasn't as bad. Tremendous record storage in this cabinet. And this is a deep cabinet, and there is no backing behind those shelves. A lot of times you have to check because things fall off these shelves, get pushed off in the back. You never know what you're going to find back there. I found a 1920s little boxed Parchisi game back there in there. It was a man's sock, looked like from the 20s or 30s. Where is it? I thought I still had it here somewhere. Oh, yes, I do. A man's sock from back then was stuck way in the back of the machine. Maybe this was for sticking a sock in the horn. I'm not really sure. Put that up there. And there were numerous other little things. What did I find? There was, oh, yes. A clothespin. I don't know why, but it was there. And there was, if I have it here, I'll show it to you. It was an envelope from the Sears Roebuck and Company in 1948, I believe it was. There it is. They must have ordered a part for this. And there's the envelope that was back there. Sears Roebuck and Company. Postmark, oh no, I'm sorry, 1943. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1943. Cost 3 cents. Victory. World War II envelope. All of this is going to stay with the machine. I'm going to stick it inside the horn grill with the Parchisi game that's already there. I'll show you that. I'll have to very carefully pry that open to do it, but let me get my pry open tool out, which is nothing more than a spackle back there. There's a little catch, and you got to reach in and sort of pop it. Okay. Got it. There's no knob on this, because generally you wouldn't really be taking this off too often, maybe to dust it now and then. All right, we're going to take that out altogether. Put it out of the way for a moment. Storing some extra felt in there. This is